Hey everybody, Digital Sticks here, and today I just want to give a recommendation for people on a budget needing VR. And basically, this is how, on a budget, you can get quality hardware and avoid the Facebook trap. So, first off, a lot of people hesitate to recommend the Index to anybody that's new to VR. If you have a gaming PC with comfortable VR specs, and then if you already have that before becoming interested in VR, then you're definitely going to be a candidate for a quality headset. And basically, as people are discovering with the Quest, 6 degrees of freedom VR is not the same thing as putting your phone in a gadget. This is legit mind blowing stuff, especially when you first put it on. You're going to be wowed by it. And I can tell you that Quest product line is extremely uncomfortable. People are spending a small fortune on stuff to try to upgrade it and make it tolerable, and yet they're still using the devices. Why is that? Because of how cool 6 degrees of freedom VR is. So it is really that good, and they are putting up with a lot to do that. They also don't know what they're missing. So to them, that's just, they're experiencing VR for the first time. They just think that everything that they're tolerating and all of that is the state of the technology. And it's not. It is the state of the technology for $300 grab you price, but it's not the state of the technology for companies that are building quality products with quality VR experiences in mind. Okay, so what do we do? Well, I've talked about the CV1, even though you would have to find one used. It's an excellent headset. If it was still available new on a budget, well, I need to try a Rift S firsthand first, but I would probably recommend the CV1 as people's entry-level headset because it's such a quality experience. And yes, it's behind the curve on resolution, but no, that's not generally a problem. It's can't read text as clearly, so for like virtual desktop things like that, that's where you could have a significant difference in the resolution. But as far as most gameplay, it's not going to be dramatically changed by the resolution. Obviously, better resolution is better, but it's not really as much more immersive as people think. So the screen door effect, it's jarring when you first see it new to VR. You're not kind of prepared for that. You adjust to it beyond what you thought you would, quicker than you thought you would, and part of that's because you're just simply enjoying VR so much. So it's a very capable headset with tracking all of that. So the trouble with it is Oculus software. You'd have to link your Facebook account if you've not had one, if you're new to it. But even like myself, I don't have my Facebook account linked, but even just the software alone is spamware, pops up, annoyed the crap out of me, very annoying to use. Open up the dashboard, get shoved the store in my face instead of looking at my desktop or whatever I had hoped to do when I opened up the dashboard. Couldn't stand it. So, and that's going to be the case for every Oculus product you want to use with PC. So Link, Rift S, CV1, or using Link with the Quest or Quest 2, you're still going to have to put up with that Oculus software for all of your VR experiences. Virtual Desktop used to not require Oculus software when he first created that plug-in feature for the Steam VR support, but now it does. You have to install Oculus software, so not sure how that or why that came about. He may be tapping into some API features now, or could be what it took to not get Oculus to pull the plug on sideloading. I don't know. I don't know how far that's gone, but now Oculus gets to spy on you inside of Facebook, or whether you're using your device or whether you're using your PC with Link. They or even with Virtual Desktop now, they still get the data that they want. You're not getting out of that while you use their device. So apart from that, the comfort of the Quest product lines is abysmal. The audio is less than ideal on everything except for the CV1. The CV1's great audio. But the comfort of the Quest and Quest 2 is abysmal. That is a major issue. That is the biggest reason I really hesitate to recommend the device, because I enjoy social VR. Come in here, I can stay for hours on end. My battery life on my index controllers is 7 hours. I can kill them, and I'm still comfortable in my headset. Trackers last for 3 hours on a charge. That is going to be an issue anytime I'm actually dancing in VR. I'm going to be having dead trackers at one point or another that I'm letting recharge. So that's how important comfort on the headset is. I'm not at all in any of that tolerating my headset. It is simply comfortable. It's a non-issue, and I'm just enjoying the experience. I'm there because I want to be. I'm there because I'm enjoying it, and I'm not putting up with anything just because the enjoyment is winning the battle over the discomfort. No, I actually just have comfort and fidelity and quality tracking. I have everything that I actually would want, at least what's available today's technology, and I have that in the Index. You're not going to have that with the Quest 2 to that extent. But this is about budget, right? So here's how you deal with it. You don't, if you have a PC VR, and that's really who this video is aiming at, or a PC capable of VR, and you intend to use it, the Quest with Link, or you're going to get the CV1Us, or you're getting a Rift S. Regardless, any of those, you're going to have to use Oculus software, and you're going to have to link a Facebook account to use those devices. Now, I don't know, if you already have an Oculus account, but you no longer have an Oculus product, I don't know if you have to link an account to add a older device back onto the account or not. But certainly if you have no Oculus account, no matter which product you're getting, you have to link Facebook. You have to use a Facebook account to use it going forward. But possibly if you already had an Oculus account, anything but the Quest 2, you may, and I'm not saying you can, but you may be able to use that device without linking your account if you wish. So just keep that in mind. But regardless of that, if you're using PC VR, buy your VR games through Steam. Now, if you have a Quest, there's some cross-play on some titles. There might be some titles where that's really compelling. Just ask yourself, is it really compelling, and is it worth abandoning this game later? Is it better to have two versions of the game right now, or when I get my chance to upgrade and break free of this, am I going to wish I still had a copy available? And if having it available on your headset standalone and on PC for now is better than owning it later, then go for it. But if you limit your investment into the Facebook ecosystem, then you can enjoy the VR, you can get into it, you can enjoy it on your budget, on your device, and you can make that poor experience temporary. You can make the compromises temporary. You can make the spamware temporary. You can make the spyware temporary. It all can be temporary if you buy your games through Steam VR. Or the games you buy through Oculus, you recognize you're only going to use them temporarily until you're done with that crap. And then you're good. So that's what it is, but keep that in mind. Anytime you're buying a game on the Oculus store, you're not owning it, you're renting it. Technically, it's the same on Steam VR, but Steam VR supports every device. You're not trapped, so whatever device you upgrade to, you can count with Steam to have access to your games. And they have done everything anyone should possibly need them to do to be confident in that going forward. So if you simply do not buy into Facebook more than absolutely necessary, then you're good to have an entry-level device, and if that was cheap and that got you in, that's good. If you get annoyed by the features, if you're tired of the spyware and all of that, you're still fine because it's just temporary, and you can let yourself know. But all of that is reasons why, if you only need one entry-level headset, and if you have that, then you don't need to replace it with anything but a really solid upgrade. And so right now, that would be the Index over any Oculus product. That's not the Reverb G2 over an Oculus product. That's the Index over an Oculus product. That's the Index over a Reverb G2, although a lot of people that have Reverb G2s would then try to do the hybrid setup instead. So that's their preference. That's fine as well. But that's it. So that's my recommendation, is you simply do not buy into Facebook more than you need to. And you recognize that you just accept the reality that you only need one entry-level headset. If you use VR enough to kill your headset, wear it out, or you're using it and its support's about to drop, or it's not going to be fully supported or whatever, and being behind the curve is bothering you. If for any reason you want a different headset than the one you have, then you are at that point clearly an enthusiast about VR, and you need to get a legitimate headset. You should not, unless you truly, truly don't mind, if it has never bothered you to have things shoved in your face, if it doesn't bother you that your Facebook account is linked to all your purchases and they're inseparable, if you have no trouble with that and you like your headset, then of course, if you want the features that are being offered on the new model, go for it. But I don't think that's going to be the case for a lot of people. I think if you stop and think about it, you would still prefer to be free from the Facebook nonsense. You just don't think you have a choice on a budget. Well, on a budget, you may not right now. That may change, but in the meantime, you don't have to be trapped, and there is no reason to be trapped into budget headsets if you already have one. So if you ignore hype about new devices while you're still enjoying the one you have, then you can set your sights towards the Index, and depending on how long it takes you to save up for it, you may know about, there may be something better than that for you at that point. The Deca Gear, if it checks out, will be a very compelling mid-range headset. Very compelling. It would be a definite recommend. If it checks out, though, they will be the first company other than Oculus to get inside-out tracking to a solid recommended level. So keep that in mind. Deca Gear is not an established company, and they also weren't advertising a product that they had developed. They were advertising the product that they are developing. So while they do seem to be completely legit in their efforts and what they're trying to achieve, and while they do seem to, while there's reasons to, I've seen some of the interviews done with them and definitely get the impression that they are committed and they are going to see this through. But there's kind of concerns about how they're going about the tracking. They're trying to use a technique that has already fallen short in the past. And, the big deal breaker for the Cosmos, it had more tracking issues than that, but also the occlusion that would occur. And anyways, so we don't know yet how well it's actually going to work. So the features and everything else are really good, but it doesn't take, terrible tracking will kill the value of every other feature. Just ask HTC about that. So, but it's still, if it checks out, then that, then no longer is the Index the definite recommend. That is still the, that would still be the headset to have. But the Deca Gear, if it checks out, is promising to be so solid with features and everything else that it really, as long as it's not unbearably uncomfortable or anything like that, it's just a good, solid potential headset that would definitely be well worth. I think it's going to start off at $550 or something like that. So, but that doesn't exist yet. And in the meantime, if you're saving up, perhaps a Quest 2 is announced, or not a Quest 2, an Index 2 is announced, something like that. So you can keep an eye out on what gets released and announced. But in the meantime, the Index as a goal will help you have a better mindset and it will shield you from the hype effect. Like if you pay attention to it and if you stop resisting the idea of the price and start looking at it in terms of the experience that you would like to have from VR, you'll get to a point that you're immune to the hype and you know what you want, and you're not going to be disappointed when you get it. So the solution to the Facebook situation really is an index, but since you can't jump right into that, the next best solution is to simply buy your hardware or your software through Steam, and you'll own it. You can simply buy the headset of your choice past the your Facebook experience. So you need one entry-level headset. That's it. If the headset you want next doesn't have everything you want it to have, don't buy it, because there's no need to have to upgrade your hardware left and right. For PC VR, if you don't have a gaming PC, you are stuck with whatever Facebook wants to do with their mobile consoles, and there's no way around that. In that case, I still think 6 Degrees of Freedom VR is well worth what it costs to get in, and if you can get a Quest and you wouldn't be able to get anything else, you're still going to enjoy that VR. And that's the one situation where I do recommend the Quest without a bunch of caveats, is the fact that if you don't have a gaming PC, that's your only reasonable option for quality VR. It's going to deliver. It's going to get you aware of it. And you'll probably find yourself wanting to build a PC, which will be great. That PC will reward you much better than a console will. It's much more useful. It doesn't just get limited to that. It doesn't go obsolete left and right. You get to choose yourself the upgrades you wish to do and decide for yourself when you think replacing the whole thing is your next best move. But in the meantime, you can work with your budget and your own performance desires and not be stuck to when a company pulls the plug on your older device and forces you to buy a new one. So I'm Digital Sticks, and I am out. So you could go ahead and get a Facebook device just to get into VR on a budget, but don't buy Facebook games if you can help it. That's it. That's the big secret. So I'm out.